In 1960, two of the most famous people in the world were drowning in a sea of admirers, yet never felt more alone. This is the story of the night they found each other backstage and what they discovered in 5 moments that changed everything about how they understood themselves. Fame is supposed to be the answer to everything. The dream that, once achieved, fills the emptiness and validates all the sacrifice. But for those who actually live it, fame becomes a prison of a different kind, one where you're surrounded by millions of people who want something from you, yet no one actually knows you. In 1960, Elvis Presley was at the height of his power. He was 25 years old, the king of rock and roll, a phenomenon that had swept across America like wildfire. Women screamed at the mere sight of him. Men wanted to be him. The world was his for the taking. But backstage, in the quiet moments between performances, he felt like a ghost wearing someone else's skin. Marilyn Monroe was in her own kind of prison. At 34, she had become the most desired woman in the world, a living fantasy, an impossible standard of beauty and sex appeal. Every studio wanted her. Every man wanted her. But Marilyn Monroe, the character, had become so real that Norma Jean, the woman underneath, had almost disappeared entirely. Neither of them knew it, but they were looking for the same thing: to be seen. Not as icons or legends or sex symbols, just as themselves. This is the story of a meeting that never happened in history, but happened in every moment that mattered. It's about two people who understood each other's loneliness with perfect clarity, who found real connection in a world built on illusion, and who learned that sometimes the greatest act of love is knowing when to let go. It's about what happens when two of the most watched people in the world finally find someone who actually sees them. Backstage at the Coconut Grove. The backstage corridor of the Coconut Grove smelled like cigarette smoke, expensive perfume, and desperation. It was always the same, Elvis thought, no matter which city or which venue. The glamour was all out front, under the lights. Back here, it was just concrete and shadows. He sat in a folding chair, still wearing his gold lame suit from the show, though he'd loosened the collar an hour ago. The sequins caught the bare bulbs overhead, throwing tiny rainbows onto the walls. His manager had left him alone for 5 minutes, a rare gift, to sign some photographs before the next round of obligations began. "You look like a man who wants to disappear," a voice said. Elvis looked up. There was a woman standing in the doorway, backlit so he couldn't see her face clearly at first. She wore a simple black dress and pearl earrings, her blonde hair pinned up in a way that seemed deliberately unfashionable. She was trying not to be recognized. "That obvious?" he asked. "I've perfected the technique," Marilyn Monroe said, stepping into the light. Without the makeup and the platinum waves she was famous for, she looked younger and older at the same time, vulnerable in a way the photographs never captured. Elvis stood, suddenly aware of how ridiculous he must look. "Miss Monroe."
You don't have to follow me, Elvis. Not tonight. I'm just a regular girl in a service corridor. No glamour left to give.
Then I guess I'm not Elvis either. Just a fella who gets it.
He gestured to the chair across from him.
What brings you to the Coconut Grove?
My studio thinks I need to be seen at exclusive venues. They're trying to prove I'm not just a blonde in a negligee, that I have range and sophistication. Been watching people all night, pretending.
She said the words like they tasted bad. "I've been watching people all night, pretending to enjoy a drink I didn't order, laughing at jokes that weren't funny. Then I heard music coming from backstage and thought, maybe someone back here is actually having fun." "I was having exactly the opposite kind of fun," Elvis said. "Tell me." He studied her for a moment. There was something different about this woman without the performance. The famous pout was gone, replaced by genuine curiosity. The calculated seductiveness had been replaced by something he rarely saw: honesty.
They want me to do a movie musical. Colonel Parker says it'll be huge. But I'd be playing a singing soldier, basically playing myself, if myself were written by someone who doesn't know me at all. And before that, there's another appearance, another photograph, another radio interview.
Before that, there's another appearance, another photograph, another radio interview, where I'm supposed to answer the same questions I answered yesterday and the day before. They want to know if I'm going steady, what my favorite meal is, whether I like cars. He laughed bitterly. Nobody asks what I want to do with my actual life. Marilyn was quiet for a long moment.
They asked me once if I could really sing. I said yes. Then they made me do a picture where I sang 4 bars, just 4, in a satin gown that cost more than my childhood home. And after that, they let some other woman's voice take over.
Over in post-production. Nobody knew but me. That's brutal. That's show business, she said. Then she leaned forward. But sometimes, between all the performances, there's a real moment. A genuine laugh with someone who sees you. A conversation that isn't for an audience. Those moments are why I keep going. Elvis found himself leaning forward, too.
I keep wondering if I'll ever get a moment that's just honest. No lights, no crowd, just real.
Well, you're having one now.
But in that small backstage room, with its harsh lighting and concrete walls, 2 of the most famous people in the world sat across from each other and simply existed for a moment without being watched, without being judged, without being anything but themselves. It was the kind of moment that could change everything if they let it. The questions. Nobody asks. What do you actually want? Marilyn asked. Not what your manager wants. Not what the studios want. What do you want? Elvis leaned back in his chair, a question he'd probably never been asked before.
I don't know anymore. When I was a kid in Memphis, singing felt like breathing. I didn't think about it. I just did it because it felt right. Now every note has a strategy attached to it. Every performance is a chess move.
So don't do
It's
movies.
not that simple.
Every performance is a chess move. So don't do movies, Marilyn said simply. It's not that simple. Isn't it? She stood up and walked to a small mirror hanging on the wall, studying her reflection like it was a stranger. I wanted to be an actress, a real actress, not a decoration. But the moment I became successful, they decided who I was for me. And the strangest part is, that person they invented, she makes more money, has more power than Norma Jean ever could. So I keep her alive, even though some days I can barely stand to look at her. You're talking like you could just stop. I could, Marilyn said, turning back to him. I could walk away tomorrow. So could you. We're not trapped, Elvis. We're just afraid. The words hung in the air between them like a challenge. Afraid of what? He asked quietly. That if we stop performing, there's nothing underneath. That the person we invented is the only version of us worth knowing. She sat back down, closer to him this time. I'm terrified of that. Aren't you? Elvis didn't answer immediately. His mind flashed through his life, the screaming crowds, the endless adoration, the Colonel always there, always calculating. But underneath all of that was a question he'd been avoiding. Who was he without all of it?
I think about leaving, just disappearing, getting a regular job, marrying someone normal, having kids, having a life that doesn't require a security detail.
Because I'm a coward, he said. Then he corrected himself. No, because I'm terrified that I'm not actually talented enough to matter. That the talent is the golden suit and the hair and the hips. Without the package, I'm just a skinny kid from Tupelo with a decent voice. Marilyn walked over to him and took his hand. It was a simple gesture, but it felt
I've listened to you sing. Not the records everyone hears. I stood out there tonight backstage and listened. You're talented, Elvis. Genuinely talented. I know the difference because I watch people
Perform all day. The talented ones, they forget they're being watched. You did that tonight. For just a moment, in the middle of a song, you forgot about the audience and you just sang. His fingers tightened around hers. How did you do that? How did you listen without being part of the show? I hid, she said. I'm very good at hiding in plain sight. They sat like that for several minutes, neither wanting to break the moment. Outside, they could hear the sounds of the club picking up, the clink of glasses, the murmur of conversation, the start of a new performance. The world was continuing without them.
We should probably go back out there.
Probably.
Same time tomorrow night. If you were back at the Grove, I mean.
That's when things get dangerous, isn't it? When we start making plans to do it again.
Would that be so bad?
If you were back at the Grove, I mean. Marilyn hesitated. That's when things get dangerous, isn't it? When we start making plans to do it again. Would that be so bad? It would be wonderful, she said sadly. And that's why it's dangerous. Because eventually someone will find us. Eventually this will become a story instead of a moment. And the moment will disappear. Elvis understood what she was saying, but he asked anyway. What if we didn't let it?
What if we didn't let it?
You can't stop a story once it starts, Elvis. Believe me, I've tried.
The crack in the facade. Elvis didn't see her the next night. He waited backstage for 40 minutes after his show, perched on the same folding chair watching the doorway. She didn't come. He told himself he was relieved. Marilyn was right. It would have been dangerous. Better to end it here, with one perfect moment intact. Better to walk away before the story became complicated. But he didn't leave the Coconut Grove that night. Instead, he changed out of his stage clothes and ventured into the main room, scanning the crowd for her. The orchestra was playing something jazzy, couples were dancing, and everywhere he looked there were people trying to look like they were having the time of their lives. He recognized the performance in their faces because he saw it in his own mirror every morning. That's when he spotted her at a corner table, nursing a martini she wasn't drinking, surrounded by 3 men in expensive suits who were clearly trying to impress her. She was wearing the platinum blonde hair and the makeup tonight. She was back to being Marilyn Monroe. But her eyes were distant, and when she laughed at something one of the men said, it was the famous laugh. Manufactured, perfect, soulless. Their eyes met for just a fraction of a second, and he saw it. The flash of real Marilyn looking out through the performance. Then she looked away, back to the men, and the facade closed back down. Elvis understood. She was protecting them both. He was about to leave when he felt a hand on his shoulder. It was one of the studio men, some executive with a name Elvis had already forgotten. Elvis? What a surprise! The man gushed. You should join us. Miss Monroe was just telling us about her upcoming picture. Before Elvis could refuse, Marilyn looked up. Oh, what a wonderful idea. Elvis, won't you sit? Her voice had changed. It was higher, breathier, calculated. This was the public Marilyn, the one everyone wanted. He sat, and for the next hour he watched her perform. She was magnificent at it. The slight touch of a hand on an arm, the tilt of her head, the laugh that made men feel like they were the funniest people alive. It was masterful. It was also deeply, completely sad. One of the executives excused himself to take a phone call. Another went to get more drinks. That left just Elvis and Marilyn and one older man who was telling a long, wandering story about his golf game. So then I said to him, that's not a handicap. That's a felony. The man laughed at his own joke. Neither Elvis nor Marilyn joined in. If you'll excuse me, Marilyn said suddenly, standing up. I need some air. She walked toward the back exit near the kitchens. Elvis waited 30 seconds, then stood as well. Enjoy your story, he said to the executive, who was already launching into another anecdote. He found her on the loading dock behind the coconut grove, sitting on a crate, smoking a cigarette. The blonde wig was gone. She'd pulled her hair back, exposing her real face in the moonlight.
I couldn't do it. I was sitting there doing the thing, the smile, the laugh, the touching of the arm, and all I could think about was last night. How real that was. How I forgot to be Marilyn for a few minutes and just got to be myself.
So come back, skip the performance. Let's...
How real that was. How I forgot to be Marilyn for a few minutes and just got to be myself. So come back, Elvis said. Skip the performance. Let's what? She turned to face him. Run away together? Start a new life?
Elvis, we're not characters in a story. We're real people with contracts and obligations. And people whose livelihoods depend on us showing up and being exactly what we're supposed to be.
We go back out there, Marilyn said, but her voice broke slightly. We smile and perform and pretend we don't know each other. And if we're very lucky, we'll have this moment. And then we'll let it go. I don't want to let it go, Elvis said. Marilyn looked at him with something like pity. That's because you're still hoping this story has a happy ending. It doesn't, Elvis. That's not the kind of world we live in. The world wants its icons separate and sad and forever reaching for connection they can never quite have. That's what sells tickets. She stood up and flicked her cigarette into the darkness. I should get back. My studio man is probably wondering where I went. I need to be mysterious, unavailable. That's what keeps them interested. What if I didn't go back? Elvis asked. What if I just left? Right now? Then tomorrow there would be headlines about Elvis Presley having a breakdown. Your career would be over. Your family would be devastated. And I would feel guilty every single day for the rest of my life. She moved toward the door. Besides, you wouldn't do it. Neither of us would. We're not brave enough. As she reached the door, Elvis called out, "Who are you, really? Under all of it?" Marilyn paused. For a moment, he thought she might answer, might tell him something true. Instead, she said, "I'm someone who wanted to be loved. Just loved. For who I am. But the world doesn't work that way, does it?" And then she was gone, back into the glittering noise of the coconut grove, back into being exactly what everyone needed her to be. Elvis stood alone on the loading dock for a long time, understanding finally what Marilyn had been trying to tell him all along, that some moments of truth are too fragile for the world, and sometimes the greatest act of love is letting them disappear.
Hey Elvis fans, if you loved this rare glimpse into the King's world, make sure you don't miss out on more. You can even become a channel member or join our super chat during live streams to support and connect with other fans who keep the King's legacy alive. Thanks for watching.